but they have fantasies of grandeur on a local level. If interested in directing and producing, how do you think they should take, what path should they take to get to where you are now, whatever that means?
Well, I always call, my terminology is points of entry, right? So I know people who are top level executives, they started as somebody's personal assistant. I know people who also want to be actors, they're production assistants, they're PAs on a crew, or it's like just sometimes it's just get in whatever door, you might have access to. Again, be careful what door and what kind of door, who's opening the door, right. All of that, right? Be careful not to exploit yourself, right? In a way that is unsafe or unhealthy. But I do believe a lot of folks have a lot of unrealistic expectations when it comes to time frame, I know people even as actors are like, yeah, I'm gonna move to LA for like a year or two and see what'll happen. You just gonna finally learn how to drive around and where everything is, and ain't nobody even gonna know you're there in the first 2 years, more than likely. So if you only go for 2 years, the needle's not gonna move likely very significantly. But we see YouTube stars, we see reality stars, we see whatever, and we think things are supposed to happen very fast. So take the opportunity to access opportunity wherever it may show up. Just again, your word is also perfect. I love the way you keep using the word ecosystem, because that's what this is. It is a multi-layered, dense rainforest of so many different things that all kind of work together so that the whole thing functions in a lush, profitable, productive, right, and fun way. So wherever you get in, sometimes, hey, just like I said, you want to be the CEO of the organization, take that job in the mailroom. Don't be afraid to be the security guard. Mop the floors, be the secretary, whatever. Because what you'll learn is just getting in, if you're clear on what your goals and your dreams are, even if they're not super specific to you, if you know, I want to do this, I have a story to tell. Emily already there last night. How many times did I say that? I know that I have a story to tell. I know I have a voice. I don't know exactly what it is yet and what form it's going to manifest and how I'm going to communicate that voice. Because I know plenty of people wanted to be superstars, actors, and now they're directors. They didn't settle for being a director. I think it got clear to them that the way I'm actually supposed to be doing this is behind the lens, not in front of them, right? That's right. So as you get through, and you got to give yourself the time to just get yourself in the ecosystem and just find a way to move around and learn and listen. I was an extra. How many times I've been an extra? You know how many times I got paid $75 for the day? And again, ate muffins and potato chips and soda. Oh, that's it. Craft Services was your middle name. No, we weren't even allowed to eat at Craft Services.
Oh, damn.
We couldn't eat. No, your background, you're an extra. We got little snacks for you. That little table over there is for all 150 of y'all.
You did Lamman dirty.
I'm serious, and it's hot out here, or it's cold out here, or it's raining out here, and you're just sitting up under a tent. I've done it, I've been it. Matter of, even as an actor on stage, I've performed in theaters smaller than this.
Man.
After having a master's degree, after being a series regular on it doesn't matter. So you gotta even as you move through over time, you can't be above anything. Like even now, I haven't directed as much television or film as most of my peers. So guess what? At some point, I might have to just shadow one of the two of them. So I'm back to being a PA.
Let's go.
Even at my level, whatever the hell that even is supposed to be, right? You know what I'm saying? But that's my point. Depending on what you want to learn, you have to find the point of entry to how you might be able to access the opportunity to learn. And that's what you always got to be paying attention. So let me also clarify it like this. Take advantage of an opportunity for what you will learn, not what you will earn. Woo! Come on, clap it up, clap it up. Eventually, what you're going to be paid for, like I said last night, one of those major things is your imagination, which is what? Your ideas, your voice, your vision, your interpretation of something. When y'all see me work as an actor, you're seeing my interpretation of that character, my interpretation of that family, of that script, of that circumstance, yada, yada, yada. Another actor might come in and do something very, very different, because that's the power of the actor. That's what we bring, our individual thing to it, right? But you gotta just you gotta get in here and say, hey, I wanna do this, I wanna learn, I'm gonna take advantage of moving around however many ways and places that I might, right? Learn as many different departments, learn how this whole thing actually functions, because regardless of where you might land eventually, it's gonna take some time, y'all, trust me. You might finally get somewhere and you'll be like, I think this is what I wanna do. All that other stuff wasn't a waste of time.
That's right.
That's all the other experience and insight and access and relationship building that you needed in order to do what you might finally decide, this is it. This is my area, right?
Yeah.
Like,
you put the DC on that.
Go ahead, come on. When you land there, trust me, all that other insight, right, will be valuable. We're talking about football. One, I can tell you as an athlete, some of the best coaches are the guys who never played, but they were the bench warmers. They were the walk-ons. They were the equipment managers. Right? Like they started kind of from the bottom, serving the athletes.
Yeah, Mike McDonald's killing it right now with the
Dolphins.
Dolphins.
They were serving the athletes.
Facts.
Okay? Now they're leading them.
That's right.
All right? Some of the other best coaches, they were actually players themselves.
Yes.
Most of them not very good, or it just didn't work out. They got injured or, whatever. But when you're a player, having a coach that was also a player,
yes.
And sometimes they might even be your peers.
That's right.
You might end up being the coach and you're like, I grew up with this dude. I played with him in high school or college, but you moved through the leadership ranks, a little faster. And now, right? But there can be a dynamic there. So my point is relationship dynamics are so important. That's what you all should be focusing on. So access to opportunity, whatever the point of entry may be, right? Cultivating your ideas, paying attention to what's going on around you so you can learn how to move through the ecosystem as other opportunity presents itself. The patience and understanding that all of this takes time. It is not going to happen overnight, and there is no set number of years that it's going to take for things to start moving for you the way you might want them to. And while you're doing all that, developing relationships is going to be key. And then lastly, I'll say, developing who you are. Because all of this is about the mixture and management of personalities, of work skills, of social skills, of coping skills, right? There are people who are going to be very brilliant people that you're going to come across, and they're highly unprofessional. Or they're very brilliant, but they've got substance abuse issues. Or, whatever, right? All that kind of stuff. So who you are as a person, how you manage your own personal life, has a lot to do with how you're going to navigate this professional space as well. So really make sure you're focusing on your own personal wellness, your healing, your mental health, how you eat, keeping these drugs and alcohol and all this other foolishness out of your system.
That's right.
And managing your expectations so that you're hustling and working hard without expecting that everything's just always going to be a rosy day. This is a grind, but it's absolutely worth it.
Yeah, and it's a personal journey, so please understand journey, not destination, is what you should take away from that ecosystem. Get into the tundra, the flora, the fauna, get into all of that. You know what I'm talking about, y'all took science class. Last question.
Can I pick
Please,
it back on
Peggy,
that?
come on, drop a jewel, baby.
Hold on now. We're not going to skip over the fact that he said tundra.
I said tundra!
And fauna. Then he just...
I said flora too, don't give me my flora.
Yeah, and I was getting
Okay,
there.
thank you. All right. Peggy Williams.
Yeah, so I just want to piggyback. When I first started, it was just an idea, right? So I was like, okay, I want to do this. So I signed up over at Prince George's Community College.
Hey,
Yeah.
let's go.
Yeah, went there. I said, let me start with the certificate program because I figured that was going to be the easiest route to get where I wanted to go. So after that, I did the program. I said, my husband's like, nah, you got to finish this. You got to keep going for 2 years. I was like, but I just want the certificate. I just want to do the cameras. I want to learn how to write, and that's it. And so, as mentioned, you look at that, and you're like, well, daughter, do I want to go for 4 years? I don't want to go to school anymore. But I saw the need of learning more. So you have to put your passion, but you have to be educated too. And I've learned a lot on many sets. I've learned a lot from this man here, and I continue to grow. And so with that, having the opportunity to even launch up my own streaming platform. And I said, because I don't want anybody to tell me no. I said, because I can do it myself. And I want to look at every one of you guys and tell you, you can do it. It's possible. I'm 56. 56. And I went back to school.
Oh, Peggy?
I know. It's the bread.
She lying.
She lying.
She lying.
She 30.
Tell her to be 21 again.
You know, but you know, my point is, don't give up on your passion. You may not make the money, but you have, anytime you do a film, is what you have. I'm about legacy. I'm about leaving legacy. You know, it may not happen today, it may not happen tomorrow, but it will happen. And just believe in yourself.
Absolutely. Harold Jackson, the biggest learning mistake that changed the way you produce or direct, what was that?
I think it's important, Lamman was touching on it, and you were talking about being a yogi, what would you call it? Tundra.
Tundra.
Yeah. I think it's important to align yourself with like-minded people. People that understand where you're going and want to go there with you. A lot of times you can, especially when the success or perceived success starts coming, so do the people, right? And not everyone is on the same page as you. So you really have to, keep yourself as clean as possible, whether that be spiritually, morally, whatever the case may be, and then align yourself with the right people. Because the truth is, you can get derailed easily. It's a very fickle business. You can hit a home run on this movie, the next movie, the people are like, nah, we're not doing that, right? And now you got to do another movie just to get back on track. So it's very important that you surround yourself with a team of people that understand the vision. Everyone's on the same page. Everyone has the same goals, and then respect those people too, and try to make sure you take care of them as best you can, because you're gonna need them tomorrow, right? Even if you're still the top dog, you can't. As much as I wear 50 hats, I just can't do it on my own. I just can't do it. So it's really important that I build that team and use the people in a positive way to their fullest potential, and give everybody an opportunity to shine. So that was a long answer. The short answer is there's been times where I've aligned myself with people that didn't necessarily have the same, whether it be passion or goals or just saw the world the same way and a vision, and it ended up not going as well as I'd hoped it would go. So, and now you got to deal with that. Now every moment you're dealing with that is a moment you can't create, right? You can only do so much, right? You only have so much mental, creative energy. So really try to hone your team down and build where you are. A lot of people, Lamman touched on it, where everybody thinks they can run to LA and make it happen. And I mean, if you got 5 years on you, I don't have 5 years to figure it out, right? I need to do something now, today. So that's the reason I haven't gone to LA and gotten in line and begged for a job, because I just don't have the time for that, right? And then after 5 years, you give me an opportunity, but it's an opportunity to make your movie your way. And now I got to do 10 of those before you give me one of mine. Right?
Absolutely.
So that's, some people, and keep in mind, I'm a creator that writes and produces, so I want to tell my stories, right? Some people, I have friends that moved to LA and they make a really good living just directing TV shows and, making stuff that goes on the air, and they're completely and totally happy with that. And that is okay as well, right? So, again, I feel like remnant, but just align yourself with people that understand where you're going and want to go there with you.
Absolutely. It sounds like spirituality is the underlying foundation and bed of of what they're talking about. So get your chakras right, man. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of the incense.
How many of them you got in your pocket? We got tantra, chakra.
Listen,
How
I'm
many we
going
got?
for all the
He's showing
words.
off. He's showing off.
I'm going for it. I'm going for it. And listen,
He was at a retreat last week. He showed off. From the retreat.
low-key facts though, thank you. And don't be afraid, because you might have to go to the little snack table. Go to Kirkland, get it together. You know what I'm talking about with the Kirkland. Stop. Turn your bougie in a little. I want to take some questions from the audience. I got this great panelist here. Here is your time to speak. Yes, sir. The microphone's coming to you as well, sir.
How you doing? I want to thank everybody for coming. My name is Lamman Baker. I came here last year, and now my film is in second this year. So,
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
thank you. It's animated.
What's the name of it? When can people see it? How can they see it?
Super CJ is animated.
So the title again?
Super CJ.
Super CJ.
Yes.
All right.
It's about a black boy who's the strongest boy in the world. When he gets mad, he loses his powers. Yeah, calm down and get him back.
I love it.
That's pretty good.
Thank you. So my question kind of goes back to what Harold was saying a few minutes ago about aligning yourself. What's your process in trying to figure out who you align with? Because one of the things that I went through is trying to find people sound good and they say the right things. How do you then decipher what's your process in figuring out are their words matching their actions?
Yeah, I think the first thing I do is sort of build out my plan, kind of like you would, I build out the team, right? So I know I need camera ops, I need grips, I need producers. I may need money on this particular film, I may not. It just depends on what the project is, right? So you align yourself with people that way. And then I think the best advice that I can give you is to sort of get not that you have this, but in general, get that sort of stink of hunger off of you, right? Because people that are not for you can sense that.
Gotcha.
Right?
Gotcha. So about why the stink of hunger?
Yeah.
That was poetic, sir.
Thank you, I appreciate that. I'm a writer, man.
You can keep that? I think
Right.
you must keep that.
Right.
You'll hear that the next year.
Next panel.
Think of hunger.
Yeah, so just have confidence in your vision, right? And then people will sense that, and the right people will come in alignment. And you'll know. Sometimes you'll get it wrong, right? This guy sounds good, or this person sounds good, and then you wake up in 2 months, and you're like, what the hell did I do, right? Sometimes it's just what happens. It's just part of the game, right? It's happened to me. So I think just the more you align yourself with people, the quicker you'll be able to sense if this is the right person or not.
I can think too. You want to chime in?
So I'll say, similarly, a lot I believe is trial and error. Sometimes it's just trial and error. And it's not about somebody selling you that is something that isn't true. Sometimes people say things that they think they mean, or that they intend to do, or provide or execute, and it just doesn't work out that way, even with the best of intentions. My dad likes to say, the road to hell is paved with good intentions, right? So you have to.
Stealing them.
I come to people. I've learned that, thankfully, I'm not a defensive person, but I am a very intuitive person. So I may not even remember, a negative experience, but I'll remember if there was a feeling of mistrust or insincerity or something that wasn't quite authentic about, right? So some of it is just learning that's why I keep saying tapping into you, because what's going to serve you is your own skill of discernment. So even to use the language hunger is not bad, but desperation could be, right? So again, even that, it might be semantics, right? But again, what is your vocabulary? What vocabulary do you use, and how do you think? How do you talk to yourself when you come into a space, when you have access to an opportunity? For me, I have like a system, I have a method of screening, if you will, of filtering, of, right? I've got criteria in a sense that people have to meet. I'm gonna ask certain questions. I'm going to require certain information, right? I'm like, I have a way of marching through things that is part of my process in making a decision. And I'm the type of person, that information that I receive in the process, as well as me feeling things out, improvising, also being willing to be proven wrong, right? And also accepting that sometimes things don't work out. Actually, we were all supposed to work together not too long ago. It didn't work out. And sometimes that's just how it happens. You don't let that get in the way of anything. You don't let that get in the way of, what, we can't share the stage because we didn't work together? That's foolish, right? So just for lack of a better example, I mean, that's what's real. That's authentically how these things are gonna work. At the same time, I can say there's one, maybe two people in this business, I don't want to have nothing to do with him, right? But there's a couple folks that are, or, you know, there's probably, again, and one of them's a her. I was like, I don't think I can trust her. I don't think I can trust him. Not just because of a feeling, either because of not just one experience, but a pattern of behavior. Now I know, no, consistently you continue to do that, and not only is that coming from my own experience, did that just get confirmed by certain other people who have had a very, okay, yeah, maybe no matter what the consequence, I'm going to stay away from there. I can still do what needs to be done without integrating certain things, certain energies. But every production is different. I mean, every production you're gonna do is a new company. It's a new business. You are starting a new company every single time, new staff, it's completely new dynamics. It's like, it's nuts. So standardizing your processes, right, of management, of leadership, of discernment is key, but also understanding that the people change, environments change, circumstances change, as we see the landscape and the industry changes and evolves, and you know, and you'll change. So you always have to be open and just, I think last night, Leslie that was with me said, malleable, I think was the word, like she really likes. It's just like, not necessarily always formed by what's happening, but definitely understanding, hey man, sometimes you gotta just go with the flow. You're gonna take your lumps, so go ahead and take them lumps upside your head, but know how to continue to move forward even when you get, you know, even when you get smacked up. And just keep it moving and you'll be fine. And that's all part of the process. You're not gonna do everything perfectly. It's like parenting, it's leadership. You know, you're gonna screw some things up. People aren't gonna like you necessarily. And you have to accept the fact that, hey, you know, some people might be mumbling behind your back, you know, and there's other folks that are gonna be like, oh my God, that was one of the best experiences of my life. And you just find the best way to continue to do the best you can, you know, with what you have. That's what this is really, y'all. It's just do the best you can with what you have and who you are, you know, in that moment. And other than that, you know, you should be able to sleep at night. But make sure you've got that process and your sets of principles together, and it all will have some clarity, you know, and you'll be able to move very fluidly and consistently, I think, throughout your life and career.
Appreciate that. And just to, real quick, just to piggyback, I don't want everybody else to be able to speak as well. To Lamman's point, you will almost never be blindsided, right? When it happens, when it goes wrong, if it goes wrong, you're gonna, I knew that was gonna happen. You know, you saw the signs, but you went anyway, right? So learn to trust yourself. Right, absolutely.
And a lot of times for me, I accept everyone until you prove me wrong.
Yep. That's
You know,
Yep.
if I love you, right?
Big mistake.
I'm serious. I mean, you can't tell by a person just off the cuff. I mean, you can get a feel, but until you do something that is directed toward me, then it's like, oh, I see you. I picked your game. And that's how I navigate.
But it's about the synergy. It's synergy. One of my favorite words is synergy, right? I mean, again, I use athletics a lot as well. How many times have you seen an organization change players, or they trade somebody? Like, how'd they trade her? Or why they let him go? He's so good. Yeah, he might be. And then what? They got who and who? Like, who is that? But what's happening is, well, you know, obviously from a business standpoint, sometimes it's about moving assets around. The whole financial and business component of that is one thing. But what it also is that, you know what? I gotta find the right combination of people that it's not about judgment. It's not about good, bad, this person don't work for me, and all that added, like coming about that with that attitude. No, it's just like, okay, I might actually need her, him, her, and him as opposed to him. That doesn't mean you are less than him. It just means that based on the kind of energy I have, or what kind of production this is, or what kind of environment I prefer as a leader, I need that combination of energies. And sorry, I've got to let you go. You know what I mean? And that's again why you can't take things. He sat in the front row.
It had to be you, right?
So back to why you can't take things personally. Somebody doesn't get picked because necessarily they're better than you. That's just the preference or whatever some of the other dynamics might be based on that particular production, that leadership, that process of decision making at that time. There's another place for you. Your opportunity exists. Your time will come. Keep doing your thing. Keep being you. And trust me, somebody's looking for you. Matter of fact, I want to talk to you more about this project, and I hope to be able to see it as well.
And if you need a place to stream it.
Look at that.
I think a play was just made.
But this is what film festivals are about, y'all. And please, let me say one more thing. I'm sorry if I'm hogging this microphone right now, but the real assets in this room are you. Don't think that y'all are out there. I hope you didn't come here so that you could meet the three of us. The assets in this room are you. If you're not meeting and developing relationships with each other, right, you're missing the entire conversation. You're missing the entire opportunity. We might be the icing on top. We the three candles, or we the cherries on the top of the cupcakes or something. You know what I mean?
Tundra.
I had to say one more time. So we're the moose on the tundra right now. You are the Eskimos, and the Eskimos and Inuits need to make sure that they are forming community amongst themselves, so that when the moose show up, y'all can eat effectively. Because we might be a little further along in the process, or in our access to opportunity and how this stuff works. But at some point, you could very easily be our cast and crew. Or, no, we're going to be working for you because it's going to be your story. You're going to be the writer. You're going to be the executive producer. You're going to be the director. All of that's what this is. I've been in those seats. I might be in one of those seats tomorrow. I'm up here taking notes. I'm serious. This is just as much a learning opportunity for us. So I just don't want you all to miss the beat. We're here to give you what we can. And I don't like daises and stages for kind of just this reason. It's not that we don't deserve to be elevated, but you all also need to understand that this elevation is for you. You're elevated here too, and the elevation is all right there. Your relationships are with each other. The stuff that y'all want to get made, I bet you if you paid attention and asked the right enough questions, most of probably what you need is right here in this room.
That's a fact.
Do each other's projects, because at some point you're going to be the peers that are sitting next to each other somewhere like this. And you'll be like, oh yeah, when did we meet? I don't even remember. Was it at the Prince George's County Film Festival? I think it was. And here we are at the 30th anniversary. And we've been working together for the last 2 years. Trust me on that. It is no surprise. Unfortunately, a lot of you aren't going to still be in the conversation because you realize this really wasn't for you. Or you won't be willing to make the commitment. You might not consistently sustain the commitment, and sometimes that's also just real life. I have an elderly, parent to take care of. I have a special needs child. I had to move and relocate to Wichita, Kentucky.
Okay, now you're working
But sometimes there's just stuff that it might not happen for everybody as far as making a living doing it. But don't let that creative spirit die. The technology that we have, you can be Wichita, Kentucky and still be a writer writer, content creator, posting and creating your own stuff, or turn Wichita, Kentucky into one of the next new production, nucleuses of the entire region. Who said, why not, right? So keep that voice alive, but understand that you all, the best of what's here, is you all collaborating and developing those relationships with each other.
Wichita.
Alright.
Kentucky.
Yeah, basically, I can say I'm a Wichita. I'm an engineer, but I also like doing writing. So I have self-published 3 books so far.
Congratulations.
Now I want to take, thank you. Now I want to take my books to the big screen. So I was here last year, and I was listening. Now I'm here this year, I want to get some questions answered. So last year, you want to be a screenwriter, you have to bring your stuff to me, you have to learn from me, I'm going to charge you $15,000, and then we'll take you to the next step. I'm educated. I've taken some courses on how to do screenwriting. How can I take it to the next step? What's my steps to bring it to somebody to say, hey look, I've done everything I'm supposed to do, can you look at it for me? How do I get there?
Sounds like mentorship.
Well, a lot of times it's mentorship, but also understanding you're gonna have to do a lot of the groundwork as you get the writing, and then also depending on what direction you want to go. If you're looking to, like you said, you want to turn it into a feature, then, or are you going to finance it yourself, or you want to get investors, executive producers? I mean, it's different ways that you can go about it, but if you're looking to pitch it to a network, then you should have a pitch deck. If you don't, that's yeah. So, and then you make connections in this room, and then try to navigate it that way to where we can come together to help. It's all about community. So that would be my start. If you have a pitch deck, and if you have connections with people, or make connections to where you can have your project pitched to see if it can be acquired, or if you want to take on the task of producing yourself, then that's another step.
Can I, and then also, I'm just gonna, I think it's important for us to be honest with each other here. Have you made anything yet? Besides the books, have you made a film?
No, not yet, no.
Anything?
Brand new learning.
Okay, right. Here's something important. I have difficulty getting networks, even after, I think I'm at film 10 or something like that. I have difficulty getting networks to listen to my pitch, right? I got all this stuff behind me, right? I'm just being honest with you. It may be great what you have. It's probably great, but none of us are gonna take it seriously. And the reason we're not gonna take it seriously is not because anything personal to you. It's just that you need to do something, right? To Lamman's point, I can know, I got my cameraman is in, my cinematographer is in this room right now, right? And I'm sure there's a director in this room, and I'm sure there's there are PAs in this room. You need to get with these guys and make something, even if it's not that your baby. Because I had a baby, and I thought I was gonna win an Oscar, right? I never even made it, and nobody cares, right? So get with these people and make something, right? Because the truth is, at the end of the day, this is a visual medium, right? I need to see it, right? And I need to see how your words play on the screen before I can take it, before I can take you serious, right? So you don't have to go break the bank. Get with a bunch of friends and people willing to work that believe in your project, or just they need the experience, right? They need to get their reel up. They need to do a lot of things. Do something, do a short, do a feature, do whatever you can with whatever you have right now. Start stacking that stuff on top of each other, and then I'm gonna listen to you, because I know you can go through the steps, right? I know you can do this, right? You just need my help to do it better. Right?
That's why I'm standing before you now. Everyone listening,
I
need help.
But that's why I'm pointing you around you. So if I can jump on that, In particular, I like to encourage people to lean into short form when they're first starting out. The amount of time, the amount of the management and the pressure of execution of a feature, especially when you have no experience. So this is why also clarifying which hat you're gonna wear. Are you just gonna be the, in this case, I would just encourage you to be the writer and executive producer. That is all. Now literally, I'm talking about that is all. So what that means is, it's your baby, it's your story, and now you've gotta adapt maybe your book that maybe you might have now adapted it to a screenplay with the collaboration with the screenwriter or writers. Then I would encourage you to take that 90 to however so many minutes or whatever, that 100 pages, and now condense it into something that might only be 2-3 minutes long. A music video is what, 2-3 minutes? Most trailers are no longer, right? Except the long ones, right? I mean, how long is a commercial? 15 seconds, 30, 60 seconds, sometimes a little more, right? So think about how many ways people actually tell us stories or get us to feel a certain way or communicate certain things to us in really a matter of seconds or just minutes. Do that. It's going to minimize your costs. You're going to typically need a lot less people, but the process is still going to be the same. It's just going to be shortened, you know, maybe not quite as intense as the amount of time that it takes you to do something like that, right? Similarly though, you're going to have a process of how do I decide which one of these cinematographers is actually best for me, right? Not just in their skill level, but again, personality, teamwork, chemistry, all that stuff matters. What about the other people? Are you going to say, okay, hey, you're going to be the person in charge of finding the crew? Because that's all those names and those production companies you see at the top of the show. So-and-so and such and such film in association with such and such studios brings you a somebody film brought to you by, right? There's like 5-6 entities, and then you see all the executive producer names at the end. Most of those, they're producers of different types because they do different things or they bring different types of resources or whatever. Sometimes it's simply one of the production companies that's providing all the equipment, right? That was mentioned. That's hiring the other crew and department heads. That's their job. So you have to know, you gotta start knowing and learning who and how you can delegate some of this stuff to so that you can stay in your lane. You might still have some oversight, you might still have some creative input, people might come to you, you know, you might have some say in who the director actually is, which isn't you, and is gonna have their interpretation of what you wrote,
Exactly.
okay? So, like, even though it's small, don't run away from how dense all of this work is, because that's the process. You learn how to do it in small chunks, then you can start scaling yourself up and you can be saving money to do the big thing. I also tell people, whatever your job is, and until you can do this as a way to make a living, your first investor is your current employer, okay? So right now, have a plan, learn something about budgets, or find somebody in here who's good with money or budgets, or who does your taxes, or who is who do you know who's in is in finance, or who's a financial advisor, or who do you bank with? Like, there's ways to use the people you already know to say, hey, are you good at budgets? Next time you go and put some money in the bank or take some money out the bank, hey, by the way, they might just be a teller, but you don't know that similarly, they're at business conferences hoping that they'll be able to run the bank at some point. And now you've got somebody that can help you do this money part and money piece, so now you know how much money you need to save in order to do this, to shoot this trailer. Now you got a budget. Now who do I get to help me keep track of the money, to do this, do that, but at least you know how much money to save, so then you have to make the commitment every week, every month, whatever. I'm gonna save a certain amount of money because I'm going to get this done in the next however so many years or months, right? You would be firm on a deadline, but also know things sometimes don't stay on schedule. Cool, but you understand? So you see what I'm saying? All these kind of little pieces and all these steps, but one kind of connects to another skill or another thing of, another type of execution and vice versa. But start small. Start small.
I want to give time for one more question, please, in the back, sir.
Can I kind of address this?
I got to get one more question in. One more question, just from the audience, please. There you go, sir. Can you get past the mic, please? I'm sorry.
Just real quick, Noah Hayes, it's an honor to be in y'all's presence, everybody. So in moving through the various ecosystems and terrains and highways and byways, church, how do you deal with imposter syndrome? Because as an actor, I was told by Steve Harris that, I asked him, like, why are you here at a regional theater doing Raising to the Sun? Like, you're awesome, but why? I just watched you in a movie. And he was saying that, he does theater to keep himself sharp, but he came from the theater. And the movies were just the next step. But for an actor moving into directing or moving into another area of cinematography, for you especially, how do you keep yourself focused on the project rather than thinking about, your resume or?
For me, there's two answers to that. The first one is, I spent a lot of time watching film, like watching film, right? I watch the old stuff, watch the new stuff. I can tell what's being influenced by who. So even though I don't necessarily talk about it, I'm constantly, every day is something film, right? If I'm not paying attention to what cinematographers are doing, I'm paying attention to what directors are doing. And so I'm constantly learning. So that's how I overcome any issues. So now I am completely confident in my ability to make a film. And not because I'm arrogant, but because I know that I'm working every day, right? I'm making myself the best filmmaker I can possibly make myself. And I'm confident that I'm doing that, so I'm confident in my ability to sort of cross that bridge, right? So when I embark on a project, I have zero fear that it won't get done, right? It's just a matter of how well can I execute this. That's the way I'm thinking when I embark on a project, right? And then the second answer is years ago, back at Georgetown Theater, John Singleton, obviously before he passed, came through to sort of, when, what's this, Snowfall?
Snowfall.
When Snowfall first came out, nobody was watching, right? So they went on kind of a press tour to gin up some energy and some buzz for the film. And it worked because they ended up getting, 5 or 6 seasons out of it, right? However, John Singleton was there, and he has probably the foulest mouth I've ever heard, right? And he gets up in front of after the screening, and he's doing his thing, and he's talking, and he says, and he said, and I heard him at the time, I was like, this guy just needs to shut up. But then when it sunk in, I was like, this guy, I need to put that into my repertoire. He said, you need to walk into every room, every situation with the attitude that my shit is the shit. This is the best thing going right now. Trust me, right? And if you have that attitude, people pick up on that. You still might get a no, but they'll say that guy knows what he's talking about, right? And then it'll eventually, word will get down the line, and somebody else will seek you out, right? And part of that is, I guess, faking it till you make it, which is fine, right? The other part of that is, you are what you believe you are, right? So I believe I'm an exceptional writer and producer and director. Well, writer and director. I produce out of necessity, right? But in my soul, I believe that. And it really doesn't matter if you tell me your writing sucks. It really means nothing to me, right? So you have to believe that, and I think people, because I believe it, I sort of force other people to believe it, right? So just walk in the room knowing you got it. And the reason you know you got it is because you're putting in the work behind the scenes, right? So when you put those two things together, I think that's how you get over that sort of imposter syndrome.
We have time for one more question. Yeah. So of course I apologize.
First of all, I want to thank you all for being here and sharing this knowledge that you have with us. I am a 23-year-old actor and screenwriter, and the one thing I want to know from you all is, as Black creators, how have you all dealt with adversity in your careers, and what is something that you all wish you could have told yourself in your younger years?
My younger years would be 2 years ago.
Remember, she's 26.
focus, determination, no distractions, you know, life happens. Just knowing that you can get it done, you know. That's what I tell myself every day now, you know, continue to push forward. You know, don't let anybody get in your head, you know. Just get it done, you know.
Yeah.
Anything else?
For me, it's probably, that's tough, especially, well, I mean, I started early, so, and I'm glad that I started early, so I can't say, wish I'd started earlier, right? But I will say, first of all, dealing with the adversity part, you know, is just, this, you know, that's just, you build for it. So, you know, the same kind of confidence or even arrogance, so to speak, that I'm interpreting what Errol's saying is like, it's part of it, like, yeah, like, right, I could do this, and that doesn't mean anybody else is less than you, because they're the ish too. So what you gotta make sure you're careful about is, just because you're elevating yourself, don't make it a false puff of your chest, right? Like swag is what I think is the imposter, right? Word, right? Because actual swag comes from in here. It's not about how you walk, how you talk, how you dress, how you perform, how you present yourself, right? The way you actually will present yourself on the outside will be a reflection of what the actual confidence is on the inside. You know what I'm saying? So you're built for it. So give yourself the time to prove that to yourself, right? So don't run from adversity. Just because something's hard, lean into it, right? Because what you're going to be doing is building up your capacity to manage adversity. And if you learn how to do that, and she used a very powerful word, I'll tell you honestly, as not only as a male and as a young man, but also as a young black man, that level of discipline and self-control and self-love is going to govern everything you do. If you master those three things, that self-mastery, nobody and nothing can shake you. All right? Nothing can shake you. It doesn't matter what anybody says. It doesn't matter what anybody does. Nothing can shake you. It's all right? That little light of yours, all these little things we sing when we're little, right? If you really focus on that, nothing can shake you. And you'll be able to work in a way that's insulated, but not isolated. Okay? So you gotta learn how to protect this, but not be so harsh and hardened that you can't listen, you can't receive, God can't talk to you, and all that. But the real work is right there. So all the other stuff that comes at you, bullets bounce off me, right? But sometimes I still get scratched. Sometimes I might still get stabbed or poked, but bullets bounce off me, right? Water, I absorb. Sun, I absorb. BS trickles down my shoulder. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta know what you're made of, right? To know how you're gonna walk and believing that, yeah, when I walk in here, when I go in an audition, it's my room, right? There's a part of me that's like, this is my room, you're at my mercy, right? There's that southeast room in there, right? And there's, of course, but there's just as much a part of me that's like, hi, feature partners. How y'all doing? You know? Seriously, I walk into a room and I'm introducing myself, shaking hands, right? I do that even in auditions where most people are like, okay, how you doing? Shoot, what are my lines? And you know, but this is how I act. This is how I was when I was applying to colleges and meeting with, right, department chairs and heads, or this is what I'm like in job interviews. I don't go in there like, hi, I hope you hire me, there's my resume. Is it good? Like, you think you're gonna give me a job? No, instead I'm like, hi, how you doing? My name's Lamman. This is what I know and what I have and what I've done and where I've been educated and where I've been employed thus far. All All right, how are you? I'm just laying it out there. That's what it is, right? Hi, how are you? Do you mind giving me the same information about you? Tell me more about you. All right, now tell me about I'm interviewing them. Yeah, I want this job, but you tell me why I should work here. You sell this company to me, because this is a partnership. You know what I'm saying? So how you walk through this stuff is a big part of it. You stand up straight, my man, always. All right? That doesn't mean put your nose in the air, but it damn sure means keep your chin up. All right? Put your shoulders back, take a deep breath, relax, be grounded, smile, right? Exactly. That beautiful, handsome smile, brother, that's an asset. Don't exploit it. Right? But that beauty and charm, it has a purpose. The reason why you build like that, you look like that, that's an asset for you. So yeah, when you come in that room, light that room up with that smile. But just be you. Don't try to be the other dude that was in there before you, because he ain't you, and you ain't him. Don't worry about who else's name is on that signing list. You can't do what he do. And guess what? He ain't you. So guess what? Your competitive advantage, no matter what, will always be that there is only one you. And be that, master that, you'd be surprised. It's gonna be stuff, it's gonna just start trickling, and you're gonna be drenched in access and opportunity. You're also going, it's coming for you, just the same, right? So again, develop the skills that it's gonna take to be able to manage the lumps and licks, that you're gonna take.
Ladies and gentlemen, your first panel, the fundamentals of directing and producing. Give it up for these folks. Dr. Lamman, Butler, Kevin Marable, this is how it started the day. Give it up for these great folks, and thank you so much. You've just been blessed from the tundra of Wichita.
Tundra of Wichita.